Lakers have been playing a little bit better. Pistons have been
Hmm.
playing a little bit better, but they are at the end of a West Coast road trip. Interested to see why you like the Pistons here to hang with the Lakers.
Well, it's not the last game of their West Coast road trip. It's actually a front end of a back-to-back for both teams here. Lakers go to Utah next night, in which somewhat of a big game. I know the Jazz are behind them in the standings, but there's still a big game for the Lakers. Wouldn't be surprised if someone rested in this game. Obviously, the back-to-back going to Utah is like one of the worst spots in the NBA. But don't look now, man. This Pistons team is starting to play a lot better now. But before the season started, I really think they had a really good roster. I liked what they did with the coach. They just started out absolutely horrible. I mean, I don't even remember how many games they lost in a row. It was just bad, man. But I mean, if you've been watching the Pistons, this team is actually playing locked in right now. They're playing some really good basketball. This is a deep team as well. Even the guys that they made some trades for are coming over and playing really good minutes for them as well. So the Pistons have covered 3 straight games. They've covered 6 out of the last 7. They've covered 12 of their last 14 games. And I think this happens a lot in the NBA where a team starts out so horribly wrong, the power rating on them is messed up. But sometimes the teams can be a little bit better than how they've played. And I think that's exactly what's happening with the Pistons. They're playing their best basketball of the season, and they've actually covered 7 straight games as a double-digit underdog. And I think they make it 8 straight in this one. I'll take the Detroit Pistons here plus the 12.
So the Lakers are 6-4 ATS at home versus teams under 500, 8-2 straight up. My only problem here is like I looked at the win profile of the Lakers this weekend, and I just kind of like looked at all of the kind of like where these teams kind of define themselves. The Lakers are fascinating in that they're really good versus the top teams, and they're really good versus the bottom teams, and they're fucking garbage versus the middle teams. So it feels like the closer the Pistons are to mid, actually that's maybe bad for them here. Their win profiles all over the place. We talked about that with Joe on the Monday show. I have a hard time like figuring out where to put the Lakers in a lot of these spots. Um, I understand like you're right that this is a good spot for him, and that's like how you that's where you look for these spots. If we do normal power, if we do normalize home court, if we just give the Lakers the league average and home court advantage, I make this 9.7. So this is well within the number of 12. Problem is the Lakers have been one of the better teams at home this season. So with adjusted for Lakers home court, I've got this 15 because they've been just killing teams. They're really good at home. Um, I guess my only kind of hesitation, like they've looked. I knew the Pistons were going to play badly all season, and I knew that there would be a spot where we would want to bet them. I am a little bit worried just about the fact of like the Lakers like to be bullies, man, and this feels like a team that they'll bully. They've got size, but they don't know how to use it, and AD likes to go off versus those teams. Um, I want to ask you about the Lakers side of this. Like, I get the Detroit side, which is like, hey, the Pistons are catching 12 and a half, and they're playing
Mhm.
great, or better so far lately. Does the fact that the Lakers are so inconsistent, like they're variant, right? Where it's like LeBron said it, we can beat anybody, we can lose to anybody. Does it make you a little bit nervous about trying to cap them?
Not really. I think I mean, if you guys, the people that listen to the show, I have a pretty good handle on the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean,
That's true.
we made a ton of money with this team
That's
last
true.
year, but I think it's the opposite this year. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers missed the playoffs. I think it's very possible. I wouldn't be surprised if someone sat out in this game. Like I say, the game versus Utah tomorrow, I'm not going to say it's a bigger game, but it has more on their playoff implications. But we know that they list LeBron and AD questionable every single game. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a spot where one of them sat here. Obviously, they know that they could probably come in here and still get the win. And probably, I mean, they're probably going to be looking a little bit ahead to the tomorrow to the Jazz unless they just try to punt their game away. But if there's any game that you don't take as serious, it would be this one versus the Eastern Conference team here. So they're probably going to have Dinwiddie in there as well. It's something I like to do right after trade deadline when they have these guys come into the teams. I like to fade those teams. There's not a ton of continuity. The Lakers don't really have a backup point guard right now, and Dinwiddie's probably going to be that guy. He's not super used to the team. I don't like the Lakers here laying double digits. I think this is a bad spot for them, in my opinion. This is on their 4 times so far this season laying double digits. They covered versus the Hornets and the Blazers, and then they didn't cover the next time versus the Hornets when laying 13. So I think we're going to see one of those games where the Lakers they might get up 15, 20 points, but when it comes down to the fourth quarter, I think the Pistons might make this game a little bit closer than people might believe. And I mean, just look what they did versus the Clippers. I know the Clippers weren't really interested in that game. They were up like 15 points on the Clippers, and the Clippers basically had to come back and like, all right, come on, let's play for real. I could see that type of game as well. So I don't really care what happens. I just need the Pistons to keep this within 12.
They're 1-16 straight up, so do not take the money line on the Detroit Pistons tomorrow. But they're 9-8, 53% ATS as a double-digit dog, including their last 3 ATS and 4 of their last 5 as a double-digit dog. So trends back up what Jay was saying overall as well. Okay.